Hi, my name's Shannon Wattis. I'm the Associate Director for Rivers Edge West. Rivers Edge West is a nonprofit based in Grand Junction, and we focus on riparian restoration across the Southwest through collaboration, education, and technical assistance. I'm going to talk briefly about what a sustainable stewardship model looks like in terms of riparian restoration that we're implementing in Western Colorado, and to give you some ideas of what those components entail, and hopefully you can implement them for your partnerships and collaborative efforts elsewhere. So here at Rivers Edge West, we lead 3 collaborative efforts that focus on the Colorado, the Gunnison, the Dolores, and the White Rivers. And all of these partnerships are unique in that they're at various stages of restoration. But what they do all have in common is the need for baseline monitoring data and continued monitoring data so we can assess how successful we're being. The need for site prioritization and a framework to help direct future maintenance work. And then, of course, successful fundraising efforts to not only pay for conservation corps and contractors to get out on the ground to do a lot of the work, but to pay for all the phases of restoration. So that includes the monitoring and the maintenance and the other components that are oftentimes difficult to fund. So part of the sustainable stewardship model is a solid framework by which to base your future actions off of. So the first thing that you want to make sure to include in any of our collaborative efforts is long-term monitoring. These should be based off of monitoring protocols that are standardized. They should be ecologically based, they should be straightforward, and they should be easily administered by any of our partners. So they're easy to understand, and that will make it easier for the monitoring hopefully to get accomplished. The second thing is a database, of course, to house this data. So we want to make sure to have a place for all of our partners to submit the data, which then we can use to analyze future restoration efforts. This also works to do a quick inquiry to inform our funders and the public on the work that we're doing and to be able to show the success in the long term. And then thirdly is a standardized site prioritization. So this should include all of our sites within a partnership. It should be ecologically based as well, but it's also a way to look at a watershed in a holistic viewpoint. So you're not only looking at, from an ecological standpoint, what sites you should be working on, but you're looking outside of jurisdictional boundaries and silos that typically we operate in based on different partnerships that are involved. Okay, so building off of the stewardship framework that I just talked about, I'm going to go into the other components of the stewardship model. So first off is partner and community buy-in. In order to improve the health of our rivers, we're really trying to help our partners and our stakeholders see the importance and value in sustainable stewardship. And we are trying to thread that needle, or move the needle rather, through 3 different endeavors that we're partaking in. The first is through monitoring training. So by providing our partners with the tools and the resources they need to conduct the monitoring on their own, we're hopefully empowering them to go out and do that and or see the value in working together to try to fundraise to support that need within a partnership. The second part is through education and data support. So we provide geodatabases for all of our partnerships. Not only does this eliminate the potential for loss of data, it also eliminates the potential for data to become inconsistent over time. And then we can provide the assistance through data analysis so our partners are more educated on future restoration efforts. And then, of course, we provide site prioritization frameworks for our partners so they can make more ecologically sound decisions into the future. The second component is continued protection of our investments. So the maintenance side of these restoration sites is never really done. There's always more tamarisk resprouts that pop up, secondary weeds to deal with, and additional native plants to put in the ground. So we are trying to have a shift in mindset of making sure that we're looking to fund these sites well past the initial removal stage. So if our partners can look at internal funding, such as like a budget line item to help support some of that ongoing maintenance, that's going to help tremendously in trying to get these sites back to where we want them to be. So just as a Parks and Rec department would pay to maintain restroom facilities, this is what we're looking to do here as well. It's a value, it's written in, and it's an ongoing investment. Of course, there's going to be funding gaps within that. None of us can fund all these projects alone. And so if we pool all of our resources, it's a cost share model where we have some funding that we can bring to the table, and then we can try to fundraise for the additional funds that are needed for the ongoing maintenance work. The third component is the strike team model. So strike teams would be based under the Conservation Corps, which are highly effective at employing large Conservation Corps crews to go out and do a lot of that initial removal. They've been incredibly successful across the Southwest in doing a lot of that work. It's oftentimes very grueling. But the other side of that is the ongoing maintenance side. And so in order to fulfill those gaps in funding that I talked about earlier within our partnerships, we are looking to implement the strike team model in Western Colorado. So what this entails is 2 to 3 person teams. They're highly efficient and they are a little bit more independent, where either you have crew members that are, it gives them an opportunity to promote within the Conservation Corps crews. So after they've worked successfully within a larger crew, they can go up into a strike team position, and or it provides an opportunity for Conservation Corps to provide an internship opportunity for college students. So for the monitoring side of things, we can have college students work May through July when they're not in college to provide them some real hands-on learning experiences. And what this does is it really fulfills this critical component of restoration work with the monitoring and maintenance that is so desperately needed at all of our restoration sites. By implementing the strike team model with the Conservation Corps in Western Colorado, as well as incorporating the stewardship framework of monitoring, community and stakeholder buy-in and commitment to ongoing maintenance, and the cost share approach for the fundraising that's needed, we believe we can move the needle towards sustainable stewardship of our riparian landscapes. Thanks for listening. If you have any questions, you can feel free to reach out to me via email or our website.